Birkdale Village is officially one of the hottest neighborhoods in North Mecklenburg. But if you try to find a home here, it might look like a complete and total ghost town because there's just not very many listings on the market at any given time. In fact, I got a text from my client Rich yesterday, which was the inspiration for this video, asking where are the listings hiding? Rich said, I wanted to ask, what's the market activity like in Birkdale Village? We went over there yesterday to explore and really like the area as a possible future investment area. But are things mostly off market over there, or do they trade on the MLS? Where are the homes? Now, Rich is not alone. If you go looking in that area, you're going to find the shops, you're going to find the energy, you're going to find things to do, lots of people hanging around, kids running around, movies and events, a lot of new buildings, a lot of renovation. But what you are not going to find is just a ton of homes. And so, whether you are an investor like Rich, or if you're looking for a primary home, today what we're going to do is an audit of the Birkdale Village market. And what we're going to answer is one, is the inventory hiding? Two, is the premium that you're going to pay to be in a master plan area like this actually worth it? And three, what makes this specific pocket of Huntersville and Cornelius so unique, besides the fact that the actual development itself straddles the line between Huntersville and Cornelius? So, first up, what is Birkdale Village? It is a small shopping center. I shouldn't say small. It is a large shopping and residential community. It really is a village. Like, there's the core area with all the shops in the middle, and then there are homes, townhomes, luxury homes to the north and to the south, as well as the golf course and a bunch of golf course front homes. You see people driving around golf carts, and it's got a really strong community feel and sense to it. Now, there was some drama this past summer when the entire commercial part of the property sold for 273 million and change to NAP. Now, if you're not familiar with the history of this, side tangent, but it's important for you to understand this. The community was originally developed by Crescent Communities, and it's this big master plan. It really is just, they call it a village. It's a small town. But it's not the only development of its type that Crescent Communities has created in Charlotte. In fact, right now, they are currently building and responsible for the River District. And if got a lot of questions about the River District. So Birkdale was essentially the proof of concept. Crescent Communities only does these sort of developments. And Birkdale was the blueprint for the River District. And if you want to know what the River District is going to look like in 20 years and all the news and stuff on that, I actually made a video on all the walkable areas and all the new and up and coming areas that you can, somewhere around this video, you will be able to go look at those two videos on my channel. But this has been here for 30 plus years. This community is not going anywhere, and it's very desirable because it's one of the few areas that's walkable outside of the city of Charlotte. Now, let's talk about the invisible market. So, to answer the question, are things mostly off market over there, or are they trading on the MLS? Rich's suspicion, because he's a very well-read investor and just an awesome human being, was well-founded. So 26% of Birkdale homes do trade off-market or shadow inventory. And so what this means is, if you are strictly looking at Zillow or the MLS or Realtor.com or any of the home sites, you are missing out on one of 4 homes that sell. And there's a few different reasons for this, but one of the biggest ones is, like, it's again a desirable place to be. And so many times, especially if homes are a little bit more outdated, those homes will sell off market because it's easier to come to terms with either somebody that's going to rehab the property or just through brokers that do a lot of business in the area to be able to have a seller and a buyer make a deal come together. Now, One of the interesting things, both on market and off market, that you'll see is that even dated, unrenovated, not updated homes still sell incredibly fast compared to the broader area of the Huntersville and Cornelius market. Now, um, the demand for this is really driven by the location, which is why you're not going to see the same need for finish level or how updated something is in order to have a home sell relatively quickly, right? Buyers are willing to take on a little bit of a project just to get into that particular community, to get into a walkable lifestyle. Now, it is an A class property. So when you're looking at it, either from the investment perspective or just uh, from the ownership, because any home you purchase should be an investment. At least if you got a good agent representing you, you should always treat it like an investment. And whenever you're looking at A class property, you are betting on the long term appreciation, right? So at current prices, interest rates, this is not going to be a cash flow asset. And honestly, a lot, not all, but a lot of the markets in Charlotte are not going to be any sort of a cash flow asset when you're looking at single family homes. And this is because as the city has grown so quickly, as a general rule, Charlotte, again, in the city, around the city, different story, but in the city and in these sort of centers, um, it's more of an appreciation play than a cash flow play. Because if you believe in the asset and you believe in these, I don't want to say macroeconomic because technically it is geographically more micro, but in the conditions in which this area or Charlotte as a whole exists within, we have a lot of things going for us in Charlotte, and so. Even if we did see a market softening, areas like this will continue to outperform. And we saw that historically through actually 2008, 9, 10, when this community was closing out because, because for a long time, it has been the place to be. And I'm sure for a long time, it will continue to be the place to be. Now, one of the interesting things that I also get questions about is okay, so there's homes that are trading off market. And again, most of the people that actually purchase in Birkdale live in Birkdale. They're almost all owner occupied because, again, it's a very, very desirable place to be. But they can't be the only reason why you just don't see homes come up available, right? And if that's what you're wondering, again, you would be correct. The average tenure for people that are living in Birkdale Village is substantially higher than the Charlotte wide average. And so people don't leave, which creates a natural inventory squeeze. And it's not just low supply, it's because there is high lifestyle satisfaction here, right? That's the whole draw too. And so, it's not just, you don't just see uh people that are getting their first job or out of college. You don't just see families, you don't just see empty nesters. You see a broad diverse group of people here, which again is because the walkable lifestyle appeals to everybody these days. Everybody wants to get outside, everybody wants to get some walking in, and everybody wants to live somewhere that has great food, great shopping, great things to do, all just outside of your front door. And actually, one thing I'm gonna pull up here because I'm curious. Let's see what the turnover rate. So the turnover rate, while this is loading, is the percentage of homes in any given area. And I'm going off of my outline for this, but who cares? If you're a real one, you'll stick around for the stats and the data. So the let's see, let's do a tax search, and I'm going to actually I'll share my screen for you. One second, it'll load. So I'm going into a tax search on the broker's MLS. I need to update the title for this. Forgive me. we're going to do a market. We'll say Birkdale market analysis. Good enough, right? All right. So as we are looking, we're going to do a map search to begin, just to make sure we're looking at the right area. Now, as you get south of here, right? This is also technically Birkdale. You get down around the I think that's no. Where's the golf course? I'm turned around here. But you got the Greenway, and you have these neighborhoods south of Samford Road as well that are part of the Birkdale development. But when people talk particularly about the Birkdale Village Shopping Center and the homes around there, they're talking about north of Samford Road. So again, for the sake of trying to answer the question that we're trying to answer here, we are going to only look at this area. So, and then also we want to make sure we're actually looking at the home market too, right? So we're going to go down to land use, and we only want to look at single family residence and also townhouse, row house. So we see 638 matches there, and let's just double check what we got. Yeah, 638. And when we look at, let's say, last sale date, according to the tax data, let's say anytime within the last year. So that would be the 1st of 2025. Can you believe it is already? It's already 2026. That's insanity. Okay. Last year, in a 1-year time frame, 23 matches, right? 23 home sales out of 638. So we're going to go 23 divided by 638 is 0.036, so 3.6%. And average, we'll say average, what would it be, turnover percentage? Home sale turnover rate 2025. 2.8% nationally. We want to look at Charlotte. It's about 4%. Let's try this a different way. How many residential homes in the Charlotte MSA? Can we get okay, here we go. Housing. Okay, here now we have real numbers. 1.19 million housing units. And if I go back to here, see, now I'm going to forget what the number was. It was because it was 23 on 23 divided by 638, right? 3.6. We're going to leave that up so I don't lose it. So 1.19, and then we go down to, where is our statistical analysis model? There we go. Like I said, I'm going way off my plan for today, but that's okay. We're going to go to number of home sales, closed sales. We're going to say Charlotte MSA, and then we're going to say in 1 year monthly data. Okay, here we go. All right, so in the last 12 months, we had 36,164 home sales. So 36,164 divided by 1.190 million, and then this will be rounded. Except this is also MLS data, right? So I need to figure out how many off-market home sales there were, which means that I need to go back to my tax records again. Let's see. We're going to say this is the stuff I do to calculate accurate numbers for y'all for these videos. A lot of people don't realize how many hours we put, hundreds of hours into some of these videos to do it. Because especially a lot of agents just start yapping at the camera. And I'm trying to do a little bit more of that so you guys can see some of the process. And for those of you that want to see all the details, I can give you all the details. But there's a lot that goes into this. So we're going to say Jan 21 to 26. Okay. How many units sold? Last sale date, somewhere in there. And then what we need to do, right, is SFR and townhouse, row house. I guess it'd be residential lot too. Except that might be unimproved. We don't want residential unimproved. We want manufactured home. Sure, we'll include it in there. And then on the map, let's see, what is it by county? Yeah, so it's Chester, Lancaster, Union, York, Mack, Cabarrus, Rowan, Iredell, Lincoln, Gaston. Unless, does this data actually include this? Might actually just be the right data. Time calculations, custom ranges, variables, my areas, top bar, tabs, overview, metrics, supply, and this is just basic stuff. Just frozen data. Change log. Let's just see if the numbers match because this will still probably be the most accurate data. Contact. Charlotte region includes. Okay, so this is Charlotte MSA. Number of home sales is year to date through 11/25. 39,000. Closed sales in November is 900. And Penny, my puppy's being crazy back there. 39,000. Maybe that is the right number. I'm going to calculate this one more time just to double check, and then we'll take it as truth. Homes for sale. No. Closed sales. 36,000. 12 months. Versus. No, I was right. It doesn't include it, but the report does. Okay, so 39,000 year to date means that I can guesstimate $2013. We'll call it 3,000 because again, we're getting just in the ballpark, right? We don't have to get an exact number. So it'd be about 42.7. We'll say 42.7 home sales. Okay, we'll round it, 3.6%. So 3.6% versus in that particular region, which is 3.6%. So it's actually right in line. That's very interesting. But when you don't take into account the off-market inventory, which most of the stats that you see online do not, because people just pull the fast tool, they don't pull because you have to manually calculate from tax records to do it right. That's interesting. Right in line with the median. But actually, we'll pull up here too, because I'm sure you want to see this. How, compared to the rest of the MSA, how does Birkdale Village? How does it compare in terms of Birkdale? How does it compare in terms of days on market? Now, this is going to be really choppy because, again, when you're looking at this data, it's a ton of volume, right, for the market as a whole for Charlotte. But when you look at for just Birkdale, it's a very, very low volume of homes relatively because it's 23 homes in the last year, including off-market inventory. It's not very much. But we're looking at 6 days on market versus 24 for the Charlotte MSA average. And if we're taking into account, let's say, would be something to make this as comparable as possible. Single family in there is 4 versus 22, and some of the single family in there is very nice single family, I might add. Townhomes, a little bit higher, actually. That's interesting. It might just be because there weren't very many, and there were some that were overpriced. That would be an interesting one to look into. Back on track. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So you do see people actually stay here much longer than the average for Charlotte. Not everybody, but many people, especially the people that stay way longer. And it's everybody. Oh, we already talked about that. So the we already talked about this a little bit, but there's different zones of Birkdale, right? There's the townhomes and single family near the retail. There are homes in the neighborhoods to the south that are also part of Birkdale. There's also single family homes that are upscale luxury. They were originally built by Um, oh, uh, I always talk to Kyle over there. What is their name? This is gonna drive me crazy. This is why I usually don't make videos on a weekend. Uh, Classica. I was like, I know it starts with a C. So, and especially there are some absolutely gorgeous custom homes that were built in the early 2000s by Classica Homes, and so you've got a wide array of options. But if you're more discerning buyer looking for one of those more upscale homes, there's not very many of them, and so even fewer actually come up for sale. And if you want to be close enough to walk to coffee, far enough to not hear a concert series from your bedroom window, uh, then you probably want to be in one of the single family or townhomes that are outside of the actual central area. Because even though there aren't homes in the middle of the shopping, there are immediately behind it, and it can you can get a little bit noisy. Now, uh, where was I? See, I get myself out of my rhythm. Oh yes, okay. Now, Rich asked if there were homes that were invisible, selling off market, and there are. 26% of them are. And so that means that you can't just wait for the homes to show up. So that means you can't just wait for the homes to show up on your apps like Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, right? If you want to get the best selection of inventory in this community, I personally run a shadow inventory search for this community or any of the communities where I have clients looking for very specific types of homes. And I directly target and talk to sellers to find that hidden off market inventory. You can scan the code, click the link below to request a shadow search from me on behalf of you to whatever your criteria are. Or if you're watching this live, you can just text me a shadow search to 980-449-3750. Let me find that number and put it up for you real quick. And because inventory is so tight and you need to know about listings the second that they come on market, you can click the link down below or scan the code to join my North Mech VIP watch list, and I will send you property alerts as soon as there are properties in places like Birkdale Village hitting the market, even before these homes hit Zillow or any of the other apps. My name's Lucas Roller, your realtor here in the beautiful Queen City. I love making these videos for you because it's important to get real market information. And so I appreciate you staying all the way till the end. Check out all my other videos. I share a lot of information on this channel and my other YouTube channels. And until next time, as always, hope to show you around Charlotte, North Carolina. I got to go talk to another one of my clients, also named Rich, about listing his home. Different client, though. And so if you're here with me live, and it would be helpful. Oh, also for this particular QR code, because I'm making the videos live to then get edited and put out on the main channel. If you're seeing this one right here, this is the Charlotte Areas Quiz. I put it together. It has just a few quick, easy questions or multiple choice. It will give you, based on hundreds of consults that I've done with clients, hundreds over the past 3.5, 4 years, people moving to Charlotte, people already in Charlotte. It takes all that into consideration. You just answer, I think it's 7 multiple choice questions, super easy, and it will give you a customized list of recommended areas that you should do more research on. And I've got videos on each of them. We make it super easy because I know it can be overwhelming trying to figure out where around Charlotte is going to make you and your loved ones happiest. And I want for you nothing more than to be really happy wherever you move. So please check this out. I put a lot of time into putting it together for you because I want you to end up somewhere that you're happy, whether you work with me or anybody else. So I will talk to you all soon. Call, text, email. I'm always on my phone, and if I'm in a meeting or something, I'll hit you back immediately. Thanks for joining. And if you have ideas, I promise this will be the last thing I forgot to add. If you have ideas for videos like this, or live streams, or topics, questions, anything, drop them down in the comments below. I do read every single comment. If people are rude, I don't respond to those, or I do. Sometimes I'm a little snippy. I try to be better about that. But hey, I'm human, right? And I get calls and texts from folks every week that are letting me know either they really liked a video or a video that they specifically want me to make, and it really helps me. I really appreciate it, because sometimes it gets lonely just talking to myself, and also it helps me know what videos are going to be the most helpful for you. So if you got ideas, drop them down below. I will see you on the next one, and I'm running late.